So let's start. I'm gonna close this window, which is product one, and start generative shape design. Okay. Last time, as you probably remember, we have finished on here on creating methods on plane creating methods somewhere here, as I remember correctly. So we have looked at the method tangent to surface. Am I right, John? Guys, am I right?
Yeah, right.
So let's look maybe to okay. So it seems we have finished creating planes, this button. Okay, so let's switch into this one, creating circle. So what is this? If I click this circle icon, I have this kind of window in which I have a lot of methods of creating a circle. A circle. So the first one is creating circle with center and a radius. So then center and a point, 2 points and a radius, 3 points, center and axis, and so on. So let's look at the first one. These methods are general methods to creating a circle. So let's look at the first one. So and here I should pick a center. So the center should be a point. I don't have any point here on my tree of specification. So I have to create it. Right click on no selection here next to center and create a point. So probably our point is going to be on origin point, which is 0, 0, 0, and click on OK. And now I should select a support, which should be a plane. Maybe this one or this one or this one. In my case, because I don't have any other planes here on my trio specification. Or if I want to choose another plane, I can right click on this no selection next to support and create a plane. But let's click on cancel button here and select existing plane, which is let's say select XY plane, okay? Or maybe even maybe even YZ plane, this one. So as soon as I select a plane here on my space, an arc is created here. Okay, this one is arc, and this one is angular dimension of this arc, which is 180 degree, which is shown here. So the starting point of my arc is here, which is 0 degrees, and the ending point is here, which is 180 degrees. Okay, so and there is a radius here or here, so which can be defined on this circle definition window next to radius button. If I click on radius button, uh, this button is changed into diameter. So instead of radius, now I'm going to I'm going to choose or select or define a diameter. Okay, so I can click on OK, and I have here an arc which is 180 degrees and with the radius, or no, with the degrees with the diameter of 20 millimeters. I can open circle definition options or window by double clicking on this created arc on my space, or I can double click on my trio specifications here, and I can change an options of creating a circle. Let's say I want to create a whole circle here. Okay, instead of creating an arc or a part of arc, I just click a whole circle. Okay, so as soon as I click a whole circle button, as you can see here on my space, I have created a whole circle. So I can click on OK. So my circle is created. So once again, I'm going to double click on this circle 1 on trio specifications, or double click on this created circle on my space. Okay, so and let's back a bit to a part of arc here. If I change here starting and ending degrees, what will happen? So let's try to start from minus 90 degrees like this. Okay, and click on preview, and it is started from here, which is minus 90 degrees comparing to this 0 degrees. Okay, and here the angle is 90 degrees, and it is with the minus sign, because I should rotate clockwise to reach this 90 degrees, okay, from this point. And I click on OK. So I have here an arc with the 270 degrees, okay. So let's switch to another button, which is inside of circle here, circle button, which is a corner. I'm gonna clear my window. I just select a circle 1 on my trio specification and push my delete button on my keyboard, and I'm gonna delete all related elements. This circle, which is first of all this point 1, and click on OK. So let's look at this icon or command, or maybe button, however you want to call it. So, and here this command corner is asking me to define a first element and the second element and the radius and so on. So that means I need here two lines, intersecting lines, or one line and one point. Let's create them. I'm gonna create a first line inside a sketch, okay, something like this. uh, okay, I'm going to show you once again. I click on sketch button, and as a reference plane I'm selecting ZX plane, which is this one. Okay, and I'm gonna creating any profile, any line, any just one line. That's all. So that's enough. So I'm gonna exit sketch workbench, and for the next line, or maybe I can create a point here or here. Let's start from the point. I'm creating a point. Just click on a point and select a point of a line here, which is maybe starting point, and click on OK. And let's try to use this corner icon. So as a first element here, I'm going to select this point 2, which is created on the starting point of this line. Okay, so as a second element, I'm selecting this line, which is uh, uh, a sketch 2 in my case. Okay, so and now I should select a support. As a support plane, I'm going to select this ZX plane. Okay, and the feature cannot be computed because I have probably some issues with my selected uh, okay, let's stop here. I click on cancel button, and instead of this point I'm gonna use another line. So let's create another line on using this line button on wireframe toolbar. Okay, and I'm gonna create a line by 2 points, point, and first of all, I should create points next to point 1 on no selection. I right click and select create a point, and let's say the first point is gonna be here. Okay, z coordinate of this point is gonna be minus something like 20 maybe, and the x coordinate is gonna be something like maybe also maybe minus 20 like this. Okay, or even maybe minus 50, and my point is created here. So next point, I should create next point. So next to point 2 on no selection, I right click and select create a point, and I want to create another point somewhere here, which is which should be, I guess, uh, 30 or maybe plus 50 by x, 0 by y, and maybe again maybe plus 50 by z, something like this. Okay, or maybe let's increase this to these two numbers into, let's say, 70 or maybe even 100 and 70 like this. Okay, preview and click on OK. So I have here two lines. So and now I'm going to use this button, which is corner. Okay, so click on corner. As a first element, I'm going to select the first line. As a second element, I'm going to select second line, which is line 1 in my case, this one. Okay, so and here I'm going to increase the radius, something like maybe 20 instead of 1, and click on preview like this. Okay, so as you can see here, uh, 4 possible corners are created here, which is the first one is this one, the second is this one, the second is this one, oh, this one, and third is this one, and the fourth is this one. If I just click on OK here, only one corner is created because, as you can see here, this first corner is highlighted. And if I want to select another corner, I just should click on this next solution. If I click on next solution, as you can see here, we are switching on the second one here, second corner. And if I click once again on next solution button, we are switching to another corner like this. And I can also switch once again, and we can switch into another corner like this. Okay, and I choose what corner I need here and click on OK. That's all. So as you can see here, when I create a corner, these lines uh, cannot be trimmed or cannot be deleted or cannot they will not be hidden they will not be made hidden. Okay, so or they will not be deleted. So let's look at another command, which is this one, connect curve. So I can use these two curves to show you this command. Okay, I click on connect curve here, and I should select here two sets of data. Okay, the first set, which is curve and point, and here the second set, which is also a point and a curve. Let's start from selecting a point of a first set. Okay, I'm gonna click the end on the end point of this line. Let's say in my case, okay. So as you can see, the line of this which belongs this this point is already selected, which is sketch 1 here. Okay, and I'm gonna select the second point. I click on node selection, not next to point here under second curve, and select this point, the end point of second line, which is in my case this line. Okay, and as you can see here, some kind of a weird curve is created, and this curve is tangency to both lines. It is tangency here to this line, and it is tangency here on this point to this line. Okay, I can here click on reverse direction. Let's say okay, this created created curve can be tangency from this side, or it can be tangency from this side like this. Okay, if I click on the reverse direction button here, so it is becoming a tangency to this line, which is sketch 2 in my case, from other side. Okay, and I have here something a curve something like this. And I click on OK, and I guess there is no other options which can be interesting for us. Okay, so I would like to show you one another thing related to this corner. Okay, as you probably understand, these two lines intersects. Okay, I'm gonna delete this connect. Okay, so I have here only one corner. So what if these two lines do not intersect? I'm gonna change here the coordinates of let's say the end point of this line, which is this one. Okay, I just double click on this line, and I'm gonna change 1.1 or point 2 by clicking one of these two buttons here. Let's change point 4 here by clicking on this button here. Okay, and then how I can do these uh, two lines do not intersect. I just change this y coordinate of this point. Okay, let's say it's gonna be maybe 20 or even 50, let's say, and click on preview, click on OK, and I have here a message, error message, which is related to this corner one. Okay, and I'm gonna click on OK here. So click on OK, and here there is a message that the software is not able to create a corner because these two lines do not intersect. Okay, I'm gonna just click on close and double click on line 1 and uh, and make this redefine this y coordinate of point 4 at 0 and click on OK, and now everything is okay. So let's continue. So let's switch into maybe I'm not gonna look at this. It's really simple, like a simple command. You can look at it for yourselves if you want. So here I'm gonna delete all these things I have created. Okay, like this, and let's switch to another set of tools, which is a spline, a helix, a spiral, another spline, a contour, okay, and so on. So let's start from a spline here. As you can see, if I click on a spline icon here, I have opened spline definition window in which I should select a points. I mean, I need to add here a list of points. First point, second point, third point, and so on. Okay. I just click on cancel here, and I'm going to show you what is spline on 2D. Let's create a sketch on XY plane. Okay. And as you probably remember, there is a spline button here also in sketch, okay, which is this one. Do you remember, guys? I hope you remember. So probably we don't we have never used this uh, spline on our tasks, but I'm gonna show you. If I click on spline on a sketcher here, it asks me to select points. So I'm gonna select first point somewhere here, select second point, select third point, select fourth point, and before when I selecting the last point, I just double click like this. Okay, so this is a spline on 2D. So the spline is created using a lot of points. As you can see here, I have used 5 points to create a spline. So uh, also I can if I double click on this spline, spline definition is opened. Here there are a lot of options. I can add a point before let's say before a point. I can add another point after a point. I can close spline and so on. As you can see here, my first point, which is this one, is selected, And if I select this option at the point after, which is already selected here, and select somewhere here a point, like this. So as you can see, my point is named point 6, and it is created between point 1 and point 2. Okay, I just uh, I just click on remove points here, and I'm gonna select at point before option here. So that means I'm gonna select another point before this point 1, somewhere here like this. Okay, as you can see, the point 7 is created before point 1, and I have another option here, replace point. So uh, I'm gonna replace a point, selected point, like this, anywhere on my workspace, something like this. Okay, so and there is another option of creating a spline, which is close spline. If I select this option and click on here, the spline is closed. That means the first point in my case, which is point 7, and the last point, which is 5.5, this one, are closed like this. Okay, I just click on OK. Maybe okay. I'm gonna exit sketch workbench like this. Okay, and I just delete this sketch 3. Okay, and now we are gonna look at the spline on the space in which we should have a lot of points already created like this. Okay, let's start to create points like using this point button. I'm gonna I want to create a lot of points, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7. So that's why I double click here on this point, and step by step, I'm going to create points. Let's say the first point coordinates are this: 100 by x, 100 by x, 0 by y, and 70 by z, something like this. And I click on preview, maybe on OK. Okay. So since I have double clicked here on point, after clicking on OK, this command is mm, activated once again. So I'm gonna create, I want to create another point. So let's say this time the coordinates of a new point is gonna be 150 by x, 20 by y, and maybe 0 by z, something like this. Okay, something like this. Okay, as you can see here, there are coordinates. Before I click on OK, there are coordinates shown here of this point. 150 is a coordinate by x, 20 is a coordinate by y, and here also there is a 0, which is coordinate by z. These coordinates are uh, related to origin point. So um, um, in simple, these are distances from 0 point, from origin point here. Okay, okay, I'm gonna click on OK, and I want to create another point here. So there is a reference, as you can see here, and I can select another point. Let's do this time. Let's select this time a point. This one, 0.6 in my case. Okay. And as you can see here, now my reference point is this point instead of origin point here. And these coordinates are related to this 0.6 here. Okay. So here I'm going to change this x, y, and z coordinates related to this 0.6. Okay. Uh, let's say it's going to be minus 20, something like, or maybe 50 like this. And I'm going to keep this 20 and maybe 20 by z. Okay. And click on OK here. And another point is created here, which is this one. Okay. And uh, okay, let's create another point related to this, the last point. And I'm gonna create another point z 80 by z, something like this maybe, and click on OK and click on cancel. So I have here 4 points. Let's say I have here 4 points, and I'm gonna create a spline using these four points. Okay, click on spline, and step by step I select a points. I can select them on my workspace here, or I can select them on my tree of specifications. Okay, like this. So click on point 5, point 6, point 7, and point 8. Okay, as you can see here, a spline on the space is created. The spline is something like this. Okay, I can. Okay, so let's click for this step. I just click on OK. Okay, I'm gonna change the coordinates of this 0.6. Okay, so let's do the coordinates of this 0.6 by y is minus 50, like this. Okay, and as you can see here, the spline, and now we can see the spline is created on the space. So I double click this once again. Okay, and choose select the close spline option here. Okay, and click on OK. So